welcome to a whole new episode of Third Wheel with Natasha and Archit. And today we have Yanan and Ethan, and no Natasha. We kicked her out the show for today. But really, it's because we physically cannot fit another person in our frame. And Yanan and Ethan, just like the other episodes that you've been seeing these past couple of weeks, is about my friends who've come from college, and we're just like getting to know them, talking to them, and making them do crazy things. But Yanan and Ethan are just like the most relaxed people, except they look the most stressed out right now.
That's why.
We're going to try and make them more comfortable. They're actually very, very chill. But yeah, I've known them for over now 8
No, me longer.
Yeah, you longer, yes, I know.
I'm jealous.
Yanan, I know the longest. Actually, I knew her from before I met Morgan. It was because we were international students, though Yanan found a way to become a green card holder. No thanks to Ethan, though, if you're getting there now. But yeah, she was in my international student orientation, and those kids come a little early, and I genuinely found Yanan to be a little like with her own self, you know. Like, she was really happy with her own. She had those like round glasses.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, the round Ray-Ban glasses and the dresses, and you know, she had no care in the world. She was like, I'm already a global traveler. I don't need this shit. Like,
She didn't need you as a friend.
She's like, I don't need. She just. I don't think that like the orientation was helpful to you at all. So I felt like by the end of it, yeah. So by the end of it, you were pretty tired because you know she studied. You did high school
I did.
in America, so she had everything set up. So like you know that orientation was actually built for like getting a bank account and a bunch of other things that she didn't need. So she was just genuinely tortured in that entire process. Is what I took of it much later. At the time, I was like, she doesn't really want friends, and that's okay.
Oh, well, that's because I think first year I really wanted to leave.
Yeah.
I didn't want to stay in the middle of nowhere in Ohio at all.
Yeah.
And I felt like Denison was just like my high school, but bigger.
Yeah.
So I felt like I've experienced everything, which is very condescending, and like I came in with the mindset of I'm going to leave this place. So I didn't really try to like make connections.
Imagine that.
I know.
Imagine that, right?
But it helps because I'm still like I'm not good at making friends. I feel like my approach is just be quiet and nice, and then people will just come to me. Which I feel like that's how Morgan came into my life.
Every extrovert adopts the introvert.
That's true.
Yeah. No, it's so true. I mean, all of us have been friends because of that. Like Yanan has always been like an energy sink of sorts. Like you know, she brings in people and then she doesn't let them go away. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
She was the reason why I sat in the first row of a chemistry class that I really struggled, because I was like, she'll definitely be helpful, because it was her and one other guy who I remotely knew in a class that had like a whole back row of like football players. Yeah. I was like, I can't sit with them, and so
they're gonna make fun of me.
So I was like, I knew her, so I was like, oh my god, I'll sit with her, and I never realized that it was like front row, and but yeah, it didn't bother me. We had
science classes.
We had a lot of classes together. Unlike
Biochem.
Biochem.
Also, what's the other one? Was it OChem, where you like wrote with pencil?
Yeah.
You're like, because it was the same seat that I was sitting in. Yeah.
It was we were sitting in the same seat, but like one class after the other. So I'd write her something, and then she'd see it, and then she'd like take a picture of it, and then her and I got really into like various different like design and like hand cream situations. Like we
very consistent for Ohio.
Yeah. We fell in love with like the L'Occitane one. Like I think she introduced it to me, and then like I still have.
You're consistent. I like look at them sometimes.
No. Once I find someone, I hold on to it, and I use the same thing for my like routines. But yeah, and so you know we've kind of like grown up a lot, and then we kind of also graduated and then had our own lives, and then you know Yanan and Ethan have like spent a lot of their lives outside of college together because they're married, and that's a whole other thing. Like you know it's something that I think we saw, but we didn't experience as much because it was like senior year and everyone was just like on their own path. So it was like a lot harder for us to all like experience things together. But we had a great trip to New York. And that was a really like fun trip because I think that was like the first time I got to like hang out with you outside of like, you know, college. You know, it was just us, and that was a lot of fun. And Ethan taught us a game that Natasha and I called Connection, which I don't think is the name that you had given it.
It's a better name now.
Sure. And we played it on a road trip from Ohio to New York, which is what, 8 hours, 6 hours,
7.
Somewhere in that, in like winter. It was cold.
Spring break.
Yeah, spring break, and we played it throughout the whole time. And one of the first things I told Ethan was that I've actually imported that into India, and all of us play this game. And
perfect.
Yeah, and I don't like. It's so hard to like even give attribution to it, but like because we don't know the name, we don't know what it is. But
it's vague memory.
But it's a vague memory that we just like ran with.
Yeah.
It's been part of like my life for so long.
That's good.
You know, it's like one of those things that you never think of it as like, you know.
It's also from my cousins in Minnesota, so I imported it to Ohio.
Yeah.
And then we moved it to New York together.
Do you want to give him a shout out, like your cousin?
Yeah, Hannah and Austin, great job bringing the games to all family events.
Yeah, just give us more. Like I'm telling you, we do road trips, 2-person road trip games. If anyone knows, like please help us out. But yeah, I mean, I think bigger context to why we're all here is that Natasha and I got married. Natasha's like literally standing behind us. That's why I'm like looking there.
Lovingly.
Lovingly. She's like really missing out. She's like, I really want to join this like party. Mostly because she's like, get on with it. Like, you know, aren't you thinking that? Yeah, anyway. So I think you've been married for 3 years now and you've been in a relationship far longer than we had. So like, what are advice? Like, give me some advice. I'm literally like, tomorrow my life starts as a married man. This is like...
It's already started. But this is... And Natasha and I have discussed this before you like, you know, make this into a bigger conversation. Okay. It's like, this has been like a stopgap, like between the marriage because we're just still doing the same things that we were doing as a girlfriend and boyfriend, which is like taking a trip together. But tomorrow we move into our own house and we move into, you know, managing finances for the first time together as a unit, and, you know, managing our own time, working and all of those things. So yeah, I say more things, I'll start sweating. So before I do that, are there things that you want to like tell us? Advice, sage, couple? Well, I was thinking about it. One of the things that came up for me is for me personally to do less because I have this tendency of constantly moving and cleaning the house. And I think I just picked it up from my mom and my grandma having to be like women in Vietnam, men just sitting around and you have to do things all the time. But I'm like, I need to do the dishes because I do it the way that I want.
Yeah.
I need to like sweep the entire house. And there's a certain way that I do them, and I do them that exact way. So I won't let Ethan do that at all. Like I won't enjoy just sitting down time. But I was listening to this podcast, NPR Life Kit, and they were talking about how to divide chores, and they said do an audit to see what are the different things that you do. And then I thought about it, and I was like, oh wait, I did a lot of the things, and I don't ask Ethan to.
Yeah.
And it's really nice, and I don't feel resentment.
Yeah.
Of doing it. I just like to do them because I like things to be clean and in order.
Yeah.
And I can do it my way.
Yeah.
Because when you do the dishes, you do it slightly different than me. Like,
of course.
You don't organize.
Slightly different.
The dryer the same way.
Yeah.
And sometimes
she's saying you basically make a fucking mess, is what she's saying.
It's not.
Yeah, I know.
No.
I know. Knowing you, I know.
It's something that I do notice. I'm like, oh wait, like be grateful because he also wants to do them. He'll like tell me to sit down. Like I know you always do that, and I want to. So yeah, for me, kind of let the other partner help with chores and things that you want to do, so that even if you don't feel that resentful now, maybe later on you will, but you don't like organize it and
Yeah.
it creeps on you. That's what my mom always tells me because she does everything and then she realizes that my dad does nothing and it's like he's useless even
Yeah.
though he's not.
Yeah.
You're like you're letting the other partner become dependent
On you. And so, would you say that you should do that with like every task? Like you brought up chores, right?
Yeah.
So like, should like the idea of like hygiene and like cleanliness, is that something that should be owned by one party, or should each task be split up as well? So like Natasha is a big clean freak. If I do anything, it'll be incorrect. I acknowledge that, and I'm happy to learn new ways. But I also know that I will do things that she won't be able to do, like setting up electronics, getting a repairman, getting handy with things, and like going down and like figuring out our like fees and bills and things like that. Doing taxes. Natasha has no idea. She has a guy who does her taxes, and the guy also doesn't tell her what taxes he does. So there are lots of different activities that we like take up. But like, would you suggest that we actually split, like say the taxes also within each other, or like is it good to have like your own unit of expertise?
Because we didn't have a sit down and was like you do this, you do this.
Yeah, it naturally flows
all.
through. Yeah.
And for us, weird thing, like I would do the utility bills and like bring our document to like a tax prep and do that, but you don't. Because we already have like a person and I have that connection. But then like with cars thing, I'll let you do like fixing. Like I'm not doing any of the renovation in the house. I'm giving the ideas and like pointing where things
stereotypical Chip and Joanna, where she just comes up with ideas.
I'm an interior designer.
Yeah, she's living her dream right now.
Design and aesthetic by Yanan. Everything else by Ethan.
Yeah, maybe it's a good thing. I don't know. I can't tell you to do it because you didn't do it.
Right.
But yeah.
So I have a lot of thoughts about the same topic.
Yeah.
I was told once that it's so much easier to be single, which is true, right? Like I can eat cereal for dinner, and not have to consider anybody else in my equations.
Yeah.
I can go to bed when I want. I can live how I can wait to do laundry. I can, you run your life. You have full independence, and to be married is to love another person enough to give up pieces of your independence, and then figure out how to live together, knowing that your decisions change that person's life for the rest of your life. So it's a big compromise, and to care enough about somebody that
I'm not crying.
I thought you were gonna cry.
That's so more pointed.
By the end of it, Natasha's already like, you're killing me, man.
To care enough about somebody to consider their life and how you impact it is being married and living together. I want to say that I also am a clean freak.
Yeah.
And so I lived in an apartment by myself after college. It was awesome. Whenever Yanan came over, I would say it was very clean. Because I care about it. And her mom actually told her, you need to get organized. Like when you move in with Ethan, which I always thought she was, but her mom's like, Ethan is very clean. You need to be clean. Yeah. And now, like, she folds clothes the Marie Kondo method, and I get yelled at if I don't. Like that, you know what I mean?
But I didn't do it for you. I don't know what my mom's talking. I think I'm just messy, but I am clean.
Yanan's, as far as I remember, Yanan's dorm room was like, it was literally like, it was like an apothecary table. You know, it's like, it's a deluge of a lot of things, super organized.
Yeah.
But like, I understand like where like, it could be hard to find something.
Yeah,
potentially, but you know where they are.
Yeah. And not in a junk drawer, like a junk drawer.
Yeah.
But in like we have a box for cables, and everyone is binder clipped, and like there's a label on the box, and that's all her. So our whole house is very organized. But with the choice thing, I think another point is we both read something recently, and it said that marriage is not 50-50. It is 100%. And depending on the day, somebody's pulling 30, somebody's pulling 70, and you should always be striving to
supplement,
do 51% essentially. You should both put forth the energy. But some days, like I'll be sick, or I'll have a long day or a hard day at work or something, and Yanan knows like like I care about him, so I'm going to be 65.
Yeah.
So it's that, like, we both do each chore. She does stop me sometimes. She's like, I had a long day, please leave the dishes. Which people don't believe me. Like, they're like, you're being like such a terrible husband. And I'm just like, she'll put in a podcast, she will enjoy doing the dishes, she will ask me not to. So I think it's also understanding, like, that sounds fake.
Yeah. No, I think I can hear that from her. Yeah.
But also, like, you like the ideal is sensing that from your partner and like pulling in more weight. But I think it's even better if you can communicate that and say like, I'm not feeling well.
Right.
I feel like usually we don't communicate. Maybe
we communicate non-verbally a lot.
Yeah. But like I think being able to say it out loud could be even better. Because I'm really bad at like saying things. Yeah. All of my stuff is like action, but a lot of your way of communicating is like 2 words.
That's an interesting one. Like nonverbal communication is another one that's like it can turn out to be like passive aggressiveness. It can come out in so many other ways, and you don't know how it's being interpreted. With words, at least you have the power of like managing like how it's being portrayed to the other person and in the best way possible. Like I know that like between Natasha and I, if we have like a disagreement on something, my way to resolve it is to either call her or like meet her in person. And Natasha's way of resolving it is write really long messages. And I can't process really long messages because when I respond to them, I get more messages, and I'm like, this can be a phone call, right? Like so, so we found a way to like figure out how to like navigate that. And I mean, now we're gonna be married, so there's text messaging. Hopefully, will not be a tool that we use for communication as much. And especially because we live in the same city, so that's a lot easier as well.
Another thing that I remember is that kind of even though the other person, back to the chores, if you're doing the thing, but it's helpful that the other person knows as well. Because when he was away, we had this like, our house is just small things, but like we're malfunctioning. Like the lights went out, but it's a really like tall bulb, and like our pipes were frozen because it was really cold. And I was like, oh, why do I need to change the light bulbs? This is Ethan's job, but he's not here. And I was like, but wait, like if I were to have to live by myself, I need to know how to do these things. But I was doing them, but like in my head, I'm like, oh, like this is not my choice to do.
With that in mind as well, I think having feelings that are not positive is totally healthy in a relationship. But we've been together over 7 years, and we've never had a fight.
Whoa!
You do not need to have fights in a relationship. We have a lot of conversations. Right. I just talked with Morgan the other day. If you have to yell in an argument to win, your side, like your argument, wasn't good enough to win. You know what I mean? Like, you should be able to win with like logic and reason.
Words and
you know. And if you have to yell at your partner, you've lost a lot more than that fight.
So. I was thinking about this because one time we were trying to get to the Boston airport, running late, took a missed turn. There was so much traffic, and Ethan took a wrong turn, and it routed us another 20 minutes. And I was like, but then completely it missed it. I didn't think about it, and I was like, okay, we need to just get to the destination. And then once we made it, I was thinking, like, I'm glad that at that moment, none of us got mad at the other person and was like, you took the wrong turn. Why didn't you tell me like the exit was here? Because it's so unproductive. Like our goal.
There's no point.
Exactly. And once that moment is passed, you're not even mad about it anymore. So I don't know, like minor calculation in your head, whether that is productive at the moment or is it worth it? And always, one thing that's bad, because for me, I always think everything is not worth it because I'm so non-confrontational and so passive that like sometimes it's better to just say like those things out, but I just can't. I get overwhelmed and I cry.
No, I get that. Like 2 things that both of you said something that I kind of follow, but it's not just like in relationships to like Natasha, but in general, like relationships across the board. One is that if you're in an argument that you know that there's no there is no winner or loser, but you also have nothing to share in that conversation. I just switch off and said, you win. Like, you know,
But
like,
then sometimes that could be considered
I know.
you did not care.
I know.
Right?
Yeah, it does sound
So-
passive, but I feel like at that point, it's almost like it's probably better for us to have it in another structured
Yeah.
conversation, probably later on, where we have more information, than to like continue digging into this. But that's a non-confrontational thing that I do. Probably not the best. And then, but the second one is that if I'm about to like, if I know I can pick a fight, I always think like, will this matter to me a 2 days or a week from now? Will I still think about it and be mad about it?
Mhm.
And if it isn't, then there's like no point. So
Yeah.
so like when I'm feeling like that, I'm actually really quiet because I'm actually like thinking of all the things that can happen if I do something, and then I just like probably don't do any of them. You know?
Yeah.
It's a complete like non-confrontational brain.
Yeah. Like in your head, you can totally pick a fight and be super mean to somebody.
Yeah,
but you never
yeah,
do that.
yeah. It doesn't give me happiness to like put someone else down.
Wow, the things. Another one, I feel like the pressure to always spend time and hang out with each other. You don't have to.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, maybe we have moments where we go through that, but like I feel like if you're sad, I have to do everything in my power to make you like be happy. I'm like, oh, is there anything I can do? Like, is this the reason why? But then now I've just like accepted that Ethan just have to like sit in silent and like deal with it, and I'll just do my own things. And whenever he needs, he'll come and call me. And I'm like, okay, I can occupy that space. But at the beginning, I felt like I need to and I have to fix.
Yeah, you need to
everything.
see that like smile, and if you don't see it, it's something is wrong.
Yeah.
And it could be like it could be more than just what he's even sad about, right?
And then you start like overthinking, like, oh, is that me?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
am I annoying? Like, did I
do something.
exactly?
Yeah.
I think this is a way that Yanan has learned more about me,
Yeah.
which is awesome because I think maybe it was something we told each other that we read, but the idea that to be loved is to be understood. To have somebody see you and understand what makes you tick,
Yeah.
and that you don't have to fit in some kind of box to
Yeah.
be considered healthy.
Yeah.
So like for me, there's so many times where I tell Yanan, hey, I just need to try again tomorrow. Like some things upset me so much in a day. It doesn't happen often, but she's learned to love me that way where she gives me the night to sleep on it and I wake up, new day. I feel fresh. There's nothing that really could have fixed the last day. Like it was in my head, it's almost a throwaway.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not her, it's not me, it's just like this situation.
Shit
I'm gonna
day,
think about
yeah.
it regardless until I fall asleep.
Yeah.
And for her at first, like just saying like, it was, oh, can I fix it now? Can I make you your favorite whatever? Can I, do whatever? And it's like, no, like you can lay with me in bed until I fall asleep and it's gonna be a better day tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a way of understanding each other.
That's so cool. Oh.
But like you'll
We'll get there. We'll get there.
You can't expect all of
Of
this
course.
to happen like
Of course.
tomorrow night when you like get home.
Yeah.
But maybe it will. I mean,
That's true.
so many things to look forward to.
Yeah.
So many things. And then I think the other thing is like for us, do you think there's like any reading, podcast, things that we should be like doing to like just get that like scaffolding,
I really love Esther Perel.
Okay.
Even though like a lot, so she does this thing where she brings in a couple and like does live therapy that's recorded and edited out. A lot of it's about like relationship, not just like partner, but also some about sex. But I would, I think she points out that things aren't like mutually exclusive. I feel like that was like a theme in some conversation where like it can be this and it can also be that. Like both partners have like their reason.
Both the points are valid.
Yeah, and you like the
It's
goal
not like
is
one
to
is correct and
understand-
the other is
exactly.
wrong.
It's to like understand where the other person is coming from,
Right.
to like help with.
I think a point in that is assuming the best in a conversation. Like I say things to Yanan that I wouldn't say in public.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like a vicious person, but whether it's jokes or whether it's like sharing news articles together or talking about things in our society or whatever, I know that she assumes the best in me because she understands who I am.
Yeah.
So if I misspeak,
Yeah.
it's not like my wife is going to cancel cancel me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
yeah.
she knows.
That's true.
I know Ethan. I know that he doesn't hold XYZ belief, and so he must have misspoke with me.
Yeah.
Let me clarify that.
Yeah.
And it's always a clarification because she does know who I am.
I mean, and also like the other way around of it, right? Like you're also the most open to learn from her. So like, say you do say something that could be considered cancelable in the future to society, she may be able to tell you why that is, and you may actually listen to her more than like the guy on the podcast telling you why it's the same way. Right. So I think it's also that other the flip of it. And oh yeah, I mean, I asked Natasha questions like mostly like gendered questions that like I have no answer to because she's like lived through that, and her like insight to some of those things are like fascinating. But honestly, I feel like I did that with all my female friends. Because one, I only had female friends. Like my cousins who were all like women as well, they were like, "Oh, we're coming to your wedding. Do you see any like single men?" There's two men. Two men were coming. They're both married. So it was you know. So I mean, I've always had like female friendships who like I've asked them stupid questions.
Yeah.
I think Morgan taught me everything I know about like LGBTQIA, anything. Like I had such stupid questions. Yeah, I'm glad I had her.
It's better to know than to be ignorant. Though.
Yeah.
And then you have the safe, like, space and this people who
exactly.
you can ask and they don't judge.
Exactly.
That's also the best thing about being married. It's like a constant, cozy, comfortable space, and you get to live your whole life in it.
Yeah.
Like that's how we feel. Like every day is so like relaxed.
Yeah.
And it feels cozy together, and we get to just live. I don't know, a simple life. It's fun.
I feel like another thing we didn't talk about, but could be important, is like interacting or dealing with the other partner's family.
That was my next question. I was like, how do you deal with in-laws?
Yeah.
I feel like our parents are super, like, they don't care about anything, very loving, very welcoming. But we definitely spend more time with my parents than Ethan's, because they live in a different state and my parents live 15 minutes away. At first I was like, that's too close. Like too close, but then now it's really helpful. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like you and my mom have a good, like a really special relationship. She like considered him as one of her sons. But you're really good at like helping them when they need. For me, I feel like I can't really help your family with a lot of things, but I'm like, guess sweet to them, like with my gifts. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and you never know, right? In the future, there could
That's
be so
true.
many opportunities where you know he may be deployed or whatever, and you may have to help, and I'm sure that you will. You know, and that's the other thing. Like you've created a space where like you can do that in the future.
That's a great point. This year, while I was deployed, was the first time first time that Yanan went to Ohio by herself without me and spent Christmas with my family.
Oh wow!
And summer vacation.
How was that?
I was kind of nervous because
I'm sure.
I never interacted with them like by myself.
Totally solo for
But
a long
then
time.
it was completely fine. Like it was normal. And I think me coming made it, because everyone was surprised that I was gonna come, but I was like, well, this is kind of like a tradition. We always do this. And I think when I was there, it made your mom feel as though like you weren't away. And that's what she told me, and I'm like, that kind of makes sense. But yeah.
Also, my niece and nephew love her so much, and we're very excited. If anything, it's for the kids.
That's true. That's what I say. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we almost cheated the whole in-law relationship, because people talk about in-laws and it's always negative. It has a negative connotation. And we have yet to experience that in our relationship. Her family is super welcoming of me and has taken me on, I would say, the best trips of my life. My family didn't travel a lot growing up, and even while we were dating, they took me to different countries and welcomed me in, and it was wonderful. My family loves her and thinks she's incredibly sweet. We talked about this the other day in the car, but I think our families have only met 3 times. Like 3 instances. And they think the other side of the family is so cool and great, and they respect each other and love each other. It's just they don't hang out because they live so far away. But it's like we cheated the system. It's very easy. They don't barge in too much. But if they do, like, I would not be afraid in your marriage to say, set up boundaries.
Yeah.
I went to a wedding once, and the priest or whatever had both families stand up after the couple was married and take a separate, like, familial vow that they would recognize this third family had just formed, and that they would respect them as a separate entity.
Oh, wow.
They could choose to have these other people in their life if they were respectful and loving and accepting of the new family.
Yeah.
I think that's extremely important. You guys have your own life, as far as we know. Like, you have one life on earth, and don't let other people co-opt it or take it from you, especially with the person that you love.
Also, I mean, like, from Asian culture, from my
it's a
family,
big break.
from my expectation, people would ask me like, "Oh, do you move in with your parents? Like, when Ethan's away, are you like living with your parents because they're so close?" And I'm like, "No." And Ethan wouldn't like be happy if he knows that like I moved in, because he like it really values like our lives together.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe something that maybe my mom has like, and my dad have learned to give us boundary. But at the beginning, it was very much like, they like always curious, like, why aren't you over for dinner all the time? But then now I tell her, like, I've spent so much time with you. Like, Chanan, my brother, came and we ate dinner there every single night. Like, I just need some time on my own. She's like, yeah, completely fine.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you, like, navigating that conversation with your parents is very, like, difficult.
Yeah.
But to be, like, set that boundary first and tell them, like, I need time with Natasha. And, like, I need time with Archie. Let us have this, like, month or two by ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's our...
Oh man, my parents have already booked us for 24th of December for a concert.
Yeah.
Like, it was all, it was genius, right? We have a group chat, and my dad sent the picture of the event, and he's like, "Looks good, 24th." And my mom's like, "Yes, please," right after. And my mom's the worst texter in the world. And she messaged right after. I'm like, they're both sitting in their balcony.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
sitting next to each other.
They're like, "You send this, I'll send this. You send this, I'll send this." I was like, "How dare you do this?" And then we both looked at it and we were like, we're already booked for the next year, for like the next month. And we're like, that's like, and yeah, I mean, our parents were telling us that, now everyone's going to call you for dinner, like all the people that you invited for the wedding. And we decided to invite 1,000 people, like, 500 people came to our wedding. So, we're like.
It's sweet that everybody wants to spend time with you and like learn, like, get to know you as a couple, but really it's more important that you have that.
Yeah. I mean, I think we need to get to know each other as a couple now. Like, we're in, this is a different stage for us.
You think so? Because I feel like you don't feel like it's...
I mean, I think that, like, honestly, I might be just putting too much into this because I haven't lived it. I don't genuinely think it will be a very different life. We've taken, like, we know each other's rhythms really well. And like, Natasha used to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, drive half an hour away just to work out with me so that she could spend the morning with me. And then we'd work. And then I would come back in and we'd still have time to chill with each other or something like that. So we've technically spent the day that you would spend as a married couple. And then we spent fucking COVID, which was like, it's like a concentration of everything and like nothing else. I mean, we've done so much. Like, I'm pretty sure it'll be the same. But because it's like, it's kind of unknown, we're just like, maybe we're over-indexing it.
Exactly. I think
Natasha's like still crying over there. I have no idea what she's crying about as well. Like, it's like,
that reminds me.
This one too.
Because you pointed out, like, she woke up at 5 and like driving all that way to spend time with you.
Every day, huh? It's 5 days a week.
I'm not like, do you tell her that before? Like, tell her, because I feel like little things acknowledging. Because sometimes we'll like at the end of the day, even though it's something like I wouldn't think about, but like Ethan will point it out, I would too. It makes you feel appreciated. You kind of have to voice that and like talk about that.
100%. Like, you do small things because you care. Some things because you have to, because you also live in that space. Like, I did the dish because it smelled bad. Like, it wasn't for you. But
I needed a fork.
Even though I know that she likes doing dishes, I know that she likes folding the laundry especially.
Yeah.
Because she has a specific way of doing it.
Yeah.
I'll still say
Also,
thank you for
usually
doing it.
I fold everything, but now I've split Ethan's stuff out so that he can fold.
God, you guys are so domestic. It's so painful.
I've asked her that I could help more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't want to like let it go. But
If Emma heard your conversation, she'd like barf right now.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
Is this your life? Oh, she's right there.
She was hiding.
I didn't know she was there.
No, like go back to like voicing your appreciation.
Yeah, I think that's the ironic thing as well, because Yanan tries to keep the actions to herself that show love, but she
Yeah.
also feels love that way.
Yeah.
So it's like I need to be doing these
Yeah.
things, so that, you know. But yeah, voicing appreciation. Even if you think, of course they know I love them.
Yeah.
Of course they know I appreciate them.
Don't expect that. Like, don't have that as a
Sometimes you don't.
assume.
Your partner won't say it because they feel silly about it.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel dumb for like needing them to say they love me. Of course they love me.
Yeah.
But they might not voice it because they don't want to bring it up. Like, you should use your words. You know.
Damn, this is a good episode, guys. They were so scared doing this episode. I asked Ethan, do you want to like do one with me? And Natasha's like, I don't know what I'll talk about. It's been 40 fucking minutes and you've been talking.
It's because you're not made it up.
Oh, right, yeah. No, I think you both contributed so much, and thank you so much for being in our lives. You're like, look at them. They're a mess.
Oh.
Emma's just about to barf, like, kidding. It's the port wine. But
one other, I
of
feel
course,
like-
yeah.
But at the end of the year or month, kind of go through it together as a couple and like
Like through the pictures or something?
yeah, like reflect on the year,
The builds,
like
okay.
the
Okay.
builds. No, like your growth, your memories.
Yeah.
I like to do that for me personally, but it's fun to like do it together. I started this only last year, but I wrote a letter for the future us. So we'll see in January if things are like what I will be saying in the letter. But I feel like it's a fun.
So you wrote it last January?
It's
And
with the
you're reading-
intention to open this
In
this
January
upcoming-
2024?
Yeah.
Wow.
But like it's good to like, because then you can see your growth as a couple and like discuss things that you both can improve on, or like what things you did really great to like support each other.
Yeah.
You get that, Natasha? Are we gonna do all the letters in writing?
We write a lot to each other.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Being in the same house, you don't have to keep texting each other.
Yeah.
But even though you live together, you can still write letters and just
Yeah.
hand them to each other.
Yeah.
We do that
Yeah.
a lot.
Mine has a lot of spelling mistakes.
But they mean a lot to me.
I still have the letters you sent me.
Oh, with the
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
And the scrapbook that we made at the end of the month.
I need to get
love-
back to that.
Natasha loves that scrapbook. She's like, where did she get all these stickers from? It's amazing.
That's like my
Morgan got one as well.
Yeah.
post-college unemployed self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wanted to share love for you guys.
It was really sweet. But yeah, you guys are the sweetest people we know. You're almost like what we will aspire to do and be.
That's sweet.
You guys should write a book. You more than her. She
Yeah, I'll give the ideas.
She'll give me all the
Yeah.
feelings.
Yeah.
I'll rate all the feelings.
Yeah.
Yours could be like Marie Kondo tested, like all the
Yeah.
Marie Kondo theories, you're like testing it.
She'll format the aesthetic.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I mean,
has-
we're excited to have like a couple friend too, because for me, I'm like the first in my group
Yeah.
to get married.
Yeah.
You know?
Yours was child marriage in many ways, but
Sure.
but it was like, but like it was right for you.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
for anyone else, they'd be like,
Mm.
early,
Mm.
right? But again, you guys lived through COVID as well, so
I don't remember much of COVID.
it was one long year. That's it. That's what it was. Actually, 3. Right. All right, but I think that's a good place to stop
Yeah.
before we all never stop crying again.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thanks
All
for
right.
having us.
Of course.
First
Yeah,
time on a
that's fun.
podcast.
Yeah.
We'll see how this goes. We'll get you back. I'm
Yeah.
sure he'll do well. Cool. All right. Thank you. Bye.